Coco, welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
In the interest of time, we'll go right to the audience. Okay. Lucas?
Hey, Coco, you mentioned Simone Biles and that you saw her tonight. I'm curious, what was the first gymnastics highlight you saw of her and how she inspires you as an athlete and a person?
Yeah, I think it was honestly her first Olympics. I don't remember what year that was, but I think it was in Rio. But that was like maybe the one of the first few times. I'm sure I've saw her before then, but like that's the one that sticks in my memory the most. And yeah, I mean, she's the greatest, one of the greatest athletes. It's her and Serena for me on my Mount Rushmore of athletes. And yeah, I think everything that she went through on the mental side of things of the sport, something that I followed closely and tried to learn from. So to see her there tonight kind of gave me a reminder that I needed. And I was lucky to actually just came from talking to her. So I was able to tell her that in person.
Okay. Catherine?
Hi, Coco. Just wanted to ask about Gavin. Obviously, there's so much attention on, like, most of the attention's on you, but there's also attention on him. I'm guessing in a way that he's never really experienced before, and he strikes me as a pretty low-key guy. Is that right? Like, I wondered if that's. I know you won't want to put words in his mouth, but I wondered what that was like for him, like whether there's any weirdness or discomfort for him with that kind of situation.
Not that I notice. I feel like you have to ask him, but I know he's not a media guy, but I mean, he also worked with one of the best players in our sport. So I'm sure he's used to the media, but obviously it's a lot more of it because of the circumstance. But I think for me on the side of things, like, yeah, he's 100% like knows what he's doing. And for me, I just don't want to like let him down in that aspect. So yeah, but I don't know. I don't think he really cares. He's, one of those guys, and I feel like when you reach a certain age, you don't really care about things like that, and I think he's at that age. No offense. It's a real thing.
What's the threshold age?
I don't know, but I don't know. Well, I think for my dad, I would say like 45, 50 is when he was like, I would say 50. When he turned 50, I know for my dad, he just was really in that. And I can see my mom too. She's more and more like my grandma when they just say things with no filter, no regard. And like she gets mad, like, you're like my grandma now. Because we always make fun of my grandma because she doesn't know how to read the room. But I think it's just innate. Like, yeah, I think you reach a certain age where you just don't care. So maybe in the 50s. But not everyone, but it's a good thing. I want to reach that age, like that I don't care mindset sooner, honestly.
Come on board. David.
Congratulations. I think it was actually Taraji P. Henson in a podcast with Keke Palmer saying that when she turned 50 that she had that
okay, so it is
experience as
a
well.
real.
So
See, I'm telling you. Hopefully that can happen to me at half the age.
But just after your first round, you talked about this being an emotionally exhausting week. Just what has been the biggest challenge and just how tough was it out there kind of dealing with the emotions and maybe just the pressure and expectation, all of that?
Yeah, I think for me, just working with someone as great as Gavin and also like my coach that I've been working with, JC, they put so much effort into me and they're doing like all the correct things. And I know, and I believe that. So for me, I just want to go out there and execute it. And I think today I showed like off the ground and things like that. Like I'm playing some really great tennis and I really am proud of that. But yeah, I definitely think the second set for the serve was a lot better. But I would love for it to get to obviously better point. But I guess, yeah, the biggest challenge is, again, just changing the motion and changing everything before such a big tournament for me. This is one of the most nervous tournaments for me in general. And on top of all this, it's a lot. But I think today I felt a lot better going into the match than my first round. And that's an improvement in itself.
Charlie.
Coco, you said after the match that you never felt like that before on court. What was it you were feeling? Was it because before that 5-6 game, you were kind of shaking in your chair? Was it a kind of anxiety thing? Like what was it?
Yeah, I think it was just nerves and just pressure, honestly. And I'm someone that usually can thrive on that. And there's been a lot on me this tournament more than usual, which I expected coming in. So yeah, I just basically what you saw out there was what it was. And I was able to reset through it. But yeah, it was a challenging moment for me on the court. And it's been a tough couple of weeks on and off the court, but I'm just happy to get through it today.
David.
My question was the same as
Ben.
You
made a self-deprecating comment on ESPN about saying it was something about your jacket, say at least you'll look good, and then they were sort of trying to say, no, don't say that about.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious for you, can it all help like to have a sense of humor about this, or letting go, or just sort of saying like, okay, if this tournament is going to be a rough ride or a shorter ride than I want it to be, like, so be it, and that could be freeing on some level to sort of just exhale a bit, even if you want to normally stay so locked in and positive.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I had that type of humor in general in life. So yeah, I know my mom doesn't like it that much, but I don't know. I just think this is like a Gen Z thing. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sometimes you have to be able to laugh at yourself, and especially like today being so tough on the court, like I just needed to have a moment of that. And yeah, honestly, like I think about that sometimes, like even after I lost in Wimbledon, I was like, well, it was a bad loss, but at least my outfit looked good. So it gave something else for people to talk about than the loss. But I mean, you have to take the positives in life. And I know it's a tough moment. Everybody knows that. But, I'm not a fake positive person either. I even told that to Gavin when he first met me. I was like, I'm not someone who's going to be fake positive. If I'm positive, I mean it. And yeah, on the court and the matches, I do better with that. But in practice, I can be a bit tougher on myself. So I have to let some humor out in the interviews.
Coco, you've talked a lot over the years about coming here as a kid and watching the U.S. Open. And speaking of your outfits, I'm just curious if you could talk about how the style has evolved at the U.S. Open and how athletes have been emboldened to make different choices, and how even the choices that you make influence even your game.
Yeah, I really think Serena pushed that fashion needle in the sport and made a lot of people and brands want to care about the kits more and what they're dressing their athletes now. And you can even see the push, and now brands are having more than just one kit for their roster of athletes. When I was going to US Open, it was kind of looking like a cheerleading squad, everybody in one kit. So now I can see that they're pushing more for that unique ability and really capitalize off of that. And then also you can see off court, like when I went to US Open as a kid, I don't recall like my parents or anyone really caring what they were wearing, but now you see like the influencers and people really showing up in their, best outfits. And I think that's great for our sport, just having, it be able to reach that factor, because we don't have a jersey, we don't have a uniform. And I think the possibilities on court are kind of endless. So I'm proud to be one of those players on the roster of showing up in good kits. And I try my best to. And yeah, it's something exciting for me to do on the court too.
Matt?
Hey, Coco.
Hi.
I was curious, like, how does it feel to have been vulnerable like that in a room of 24,000 people and I don't know how many millions of people watching at home? And so, like, to go through that and then, I mean, is it liberating? What does it feel like?
It feels human, I think. I think being an athlete, people kind of disregard that side of us, the human side of things. And, people say so many things like, number 3 in the world and you're doing this, or you're playing like this and you should be better and things like that. But like at the end of the day, like I feel like I've already, if I stopped and didn't pick up a racket tomorrow, I've had a career that so many people would dream of. So I think when I'm out there in that moment, I kind of give in to the pressures, but I feel like that's normal. I feel like every pro athlete who's been on the pedestal that I've been on has felt that pressure at some point in their career, whether they showed it publicly like I did or privately. But I think I just showed people what it's like to be a human, and I have bad days, but I think it's more about how you get up after those bad moments and how you show up after that. And I think today I showed that I can get up after feeling the worst I've ever felt on the court.
Okay. In the back.
Actually, Matt took my question. So
Okay. Yep.
Stealing questions today.
Back there. Yep.
Me, yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Congrats, Coco.
Thanks.
Well played today. Just back on the fashion, you have a really great sense of style, for someone so young. I just want to know, does that come from your mum or your dad?
Neither. No. every now and then I'll steal one of my mom's stuff, like belts or something. But no, I think my own. I'm the best dressed in the family for sure. Everybody stepped up their game after me. No, after COVID, I kind of went through there was no tennis, there was no nothing. So I was just like, bro, I need to like step up how I dress. And yeah, I think for me, it's just, I'm like, I just want to wear whatever I want to wear. And yeah, I don't know. It's just a way to express myself. I can't sing, I can't act, I can't dance. So there has to be some way to express myself creatively. And that's through my outfits.
Okay, we'll take three more. Willie, and the young man there, and the young lady here. Willie, go ahead.
Coco, you spoke a moment ago about the emotions and the challenge of the serve. What gives you the most encouragement at this moment about your serve while you're undergoing this change?
I think the most encouragement is also like how I showed up in the second set with the serve. I think I won like a lot of points off first serve, and I don't know how many doubles I had in the second, but it was a lot less than the first, that's for sure. And I don't know. I think this whole tournament, I think will stick for me the rest of my career, knowing that, if I can get through like some two tough matches, feeling how I'm feeling, I know I can get through pretty much anything. So I know regardless, I hope I get more Grand Slam finals. And when those nerves come, I'll recall on this feeling and knowing that it probably can't get much worse than this. So yeah, I think for me, it's a lot to be proud of. I feel like off the ground, I'm in returning is something that I'm playing really well. And I think that used to be one of the weakest part of my games a couple years ago. So there's a lot of positives. I'm just trying to make sure that I open my eyes and see that too.
Okay, last two questions.
Coco, one of the biggest talking points of the week so far was Taylor Townsend's win over Elena Ostapenko.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if you saw what happened at the end of the match and what your thoughts are on it, if so.
Yeah, no, I saw what happened at the end of the match, and obviously I'm close with Taylor, and I can tell you, well, the first two things that happened, Taylor always is warmed up at the net since juniors. I played her in a challenger like when I was 14, and that's what she did. And it's not against the rules. And then same thing with the let court, even though it's something that some people do. But she hit a winner afterwards, and it's not it's not against the rules either. But yeah, I mean, I know what was said after the match. I think that's, I think it was a heat of the moment thing. And I think Elena was probably feeling emotions after she lost. I do think that shouldn't have been said, regardless of how you're feeling, especially given those were the reasons that she stated. And knowing Taylor personally, she's the opposite of that. She's one of the nicest people that I ever met. And whenever I've had a tough moment on court, she's texting me, making sure, checking in on how I am. So yeah, I really hate to see that, maybe this is some of the first people hearing who Taylor Townsend is, and I don't want that to be the main focus of who she is, because she's a lot more than that. She's a mom, she's a great friend, she's a talented tennis player, and a good person. So I think at the end of this tournament, I hope that people will do a deep dive into her and get to know her more than what was said in the previous match.
Okay, last question.
Congratulations on the win.
Thanks.
Did you feel a difference in your serve since working with your new coach, and how so?
No, I definitely feel a difference in that, in the motion. And I think for me, when I do it correctly, I'm definitely not falling forward as much. But I think it's just my body's been used to doing it one way for however long. And I think for me, it's just counteracting that in those moments and trying to stay in the right motion that we've been working on. And yeah, it's been tough doing it all over and kind of refactoring everything of a motion that I knew very well. But I know for the future, this is the right step forward. And this is the biggest test of them all, and it'll only get easier from here.
Okay, thank you, Coco. Thank you, everyone.